Have we got anywhere with this Jeff Nippard and Mike Van Wyck situation? Is there anything positive coming out of this argument, dispute, assault? All I'm seeing so far are two sides trying to prove their points. And this is why the fitness industry is not going to get any better. And we all need to look at ourselves and ask how we're contributing negatively or maybe possibly positively to this situation. And I am seeing what is coined as the cycle of conflict. And what's happening here is neither side wants to hear the other side. Everybody wants to be right. And I'm hearing on Jeff's side, he doesn't need to offer an apology. He doesn't need to approach, shake hands. He doesn't need to reconcile because he was assaulted. All he should be doing is pressing charges. Okay, fair enough. I've heard the other side too, where Mike felt threatened and he already told this guy, stay away. And when you mess with, the big bear, you're going to get poked back by the big bear, whatever the saying is. And here we are a couple weeks later with no progress. Even after this new CCTV footage has been released, where we now see Jeff approaching him, it almost appears like he could be instigating. And in fact, there might have been some form of rationale for that. I don't agree with that, but we're hearing now that this footage also may in fact show the opposite, that hey, he was just trying to get clarity on what he meant by the funny business comment, and he was no threat to him. Now here we are with big dudes like Greg Doucette and a gazillion other channels and Johnny Bravo dissecting this play by play, and where are we? We're in the same freaking spot. This reminds me of the married couple where the dude works his ass off all day long only to come home to a nagging wife. What he did all day wasn't good enough, but in her lens, she was working all day too with the kids, and now he's lying on the couch taking a nap at the end of the day, and she's frustrated because she's tired too and wants dinner to be made and the garbages weren't taken out. So she asks him, can you take the garbages out, or when are you gonna cook dinner? The kids are getting hungry. And he's thinking to himself, I just bust my butt all day. Why can't I take a nap here just for a little 15-30 minutes before I go do that? And didn't you notice all the other stuff that I did? And you're nitpicking me and criticizing me. And then he snaps back, and now she feels unloved, and then she says something else. Next thing we know, we're in this cycle of conflict. One feels disrespected, one feels unloved. So what do we do? Well, guess what? In the book, Love and Respect, they talk about a super simple concept where the more mature person needs to go first. Now, again, I don't know these guys' backgrounds. I don't know their faith walks. I don't know if they're exposed to Christianity or biblical principles, or they had a relationship with God or Jesus. I don't know their history, their faith. But as a Christian, for me, the Bible is, basic instructions before leaving earth. This is timeless advice that can apply to anybody. And there's a great verse in 1 John 4:19 says, we love because he first loved us. So everyone's thinking, why should Jeff have to apologize, right? What Jeff doesn't have to do anything. Well, Jesus demonstrated unconditional love by loving us first. When we choose to love others, even when they may not be deserving. If I got throat punched from a dude when I was just going to look for clarity, I would not have in my heart to go demonstrate love. I would want to put this guy on blast. I'd want to draw my distance. And by the way, that's smart, draw boundaries. But the last thing on my mind at first would be, hey, let's go reconcile. But this is what we are commanded to do. Why? Because Jesus loved us when we didn't love him. So when you love somebody, when you provide somebody respect is listening to them, even when it's undeserving. We are reflecting the heart of Christ. We are reflecting the heart of Christ, and Christ is my role model. He is my standard. So for that reason, I have to sort out, why don't I feel like I am in a place where I can love somebody even though I was dissed. And by the way, anybody who's been hurt before, it is not easy to be the better person. There's another verse, Romans 12:18. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, key word, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And you've been seeing the comments. Everybody keeps saying this is no way to live. This is no way to live. So I'm pretty sure everybody watching is in agreement that we don't want to live like this. Nobody wants to live in this conflict. Sure, it's fun and you get the dopamine hits and you get the views when you post content like this and people are interacting. But like overall, is this the world we want to live in? No. We have a responsibility to seek peace. Mike has a responsibility to seek peace. Jeff has a responsibility to seek peace. Even if the other person isn't ready to respond in kind. So we can't force the guy to respond in peace, all right? But I can do my part, all right? And this is the opportunity I think the whole industry is dying to see come to fruition. This is the possibility that is arriving from this problem of this conflict, of this assault, of this interaction that should have never happened, but it did happen. So now what do we do? Where do we go from here? We're imperfect people. There's been a dispute. What do? Do you divorce your wife? Do you, withhold sex for the next year? Do you go in the cave and treat your wife like crap for the next week? No. Who wins from that situation? No one. Is anybody winning? Nobody's winning here. So we look at now Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. And here's the thing. We have to find our identity in who Christ calls us. You have to want to be called a child of God. You want to see value in that, because being a peacemaker isn't easy. Taking the first step towards peace is a sign of strength. It is not a sign of weakness. Can you imagine Mike came forward, a big freaking Hulk, and he said, "Hey dude, hands up. I messed up. I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? Let's make amends." They don't have to go out for dinner. They don't have to get each other massages. But guess what? At least they can shake hands and be men about it. And that would show both sides of strength. I actually can see Jeff doing this from just, I think I know him a little bit, few interactions with him. I think he's got a softer heart. And I bet that guy would be open to actually sitting at a table and having a good conversation. So unless you're able to understand and have a higher vision of what could be possible and understand that, like, you're never going to break these cycles of conflict unless one person goes first and one person humbles himself and says, "Hey man, I'm sorry, I want to squash this. Did put a video out there. There was some meanness in my heart." And even if there was just a slight, like there was even a slight jab, even though Jeff said it respectfully, he had a really great video. It was really well done, but I can't examine Jeff's heart. I'm not his pastor. I'm not God. I'm not his judge. Only he can examine his heart and ask himself, when I made that video, did it come from a place where I was, genuinely trying to, reply, or was there a hurt part inside of me that was jabbing back in the way I know how to jab back? And that's for him to sort out. I really, really am excited. I'm still hoping and praying that these guys can resolve things. I absolutely believe that they can reconcile, but it's going to take one of them to become the better man and to break the cycle. And for you, if you're facing conflict in your life, remember these principles of unconditional love and unconditional respect. They aren't just for romantic relationships. They apply to rivalries, partnerships, friendships. They apply to everything in life. And this is how you become more like Christ. This is how you become a better version of you. And this is how you ultimately create safety and security for others to want to be around you. And ultimately, this is what we need in order to be leaders and to live our greatest life. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more content to personal growth, fitness, business, everything in between. As you can see, we're talking about lots of things on this channel now. Drop a comment below on how you handle conflicts in your life and what you think these two should do. Don't forget, level up or level off.